Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha Bean of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to Creator to Creators.
Welcome back to another episode of Creator to Creators today. Today we have a special guest,
Alonzo Easter.
Alonzo in the house. How are you?
Always cool, just hustling as normal.
Yeah, definitely. I totally feel that. I first of all, I gotta say, I love connecting with people through social media. And every time I check out your stuff, you have something going on. And you're not only just have something going on, you're hilarious. You are funny. All your clips, I was like, holy crap, this guy's hilarious. Like you have so many funny sketches and like skits and things. It's just like you we get to see a little bit of your personality and not just what you do, but like who you are. So I find that's really, really cool and personable. But like,
Appreciate
have
that.
you always been funny, like even growing up? And like, how did you kind of, what was your childhood like? And like, how did you kind of like get into the creative world?
So I've always been funny. But growing up, as a male, you kind of want to be a dominant, sexy figure, So I kind of was like always leaning towards that modeling and trying to like dot my I's and cross my T's. But I'm like, you know what? Like if you look at the biggest creators, movie stars, actors, models, whatever, people that grow the fastest are funny people. So, and I was already funny naturally. So I'm like, why not just show the world who I am so I could be sexy and funny? Um, but yeah, so I've kind of always been that way.
That's so cool. I can totally see
Mhm.
that. Like, I love that about you. We're like come growing up, like where are you originally from, if you don't mind going into like a little bit of your childhood?
Oh yeah, born and raised in Stockton, California.
All
I grew
right.
up, yeah, I grew up in the mud though, like
Oh.
around gang activity.
Mm.
Best friend robbed me. Single parent mom.
Wow.
Um, yeah, watched a friend die. Like but I don't wish for any of it back. Like
Mm. Hmm.
all that helped develop who I am today. So,
Wow.
but yeah, stuck in California.
That's so cool. Like how, I mean, not the death part and seeing all that growing up. I wish that upon no one, but like the fact that you went through that, and even in that, I think you would have to have a little bit of a, your personality has to be like funny. You have to see that, in order to overcome these things. Because I mean, anyone could have easily fall into depression where it's
Hmm.
like, I give up. I can't deal. Um,
Hmm.
okay, so you get older. How did you, what saved you? Like what was something that you were like, okay, I gotta figure this out. I cannot be a statistic, quote unquote, if you will.
If it weren't for
Mm,
sports, yeah, I did basketball, track, wrestling, football, a little bit of martial arts, but it was mainly track and basketball. I dropped out of football after sophomore year after I studied the body. Like it's damaging for the brain, the spine, and all that. So
wow.
yeah, but um, I got a scholarship for track and field to CSU Stanislaus.
Nice.
Um, yeah, because I was like, I do not want to be in that statistic. I was watching friends die and go to jail and just getting the things they weren't supposed to get in. I was like, how could I make it out? How do I not fall in this trap? In sports, if it wasn't for that scholarship, I don't know where I would end up.
Wow. That's incredible. Well, so you get into sports, and what was next on that? Did you always kind of have a bug for the creative world and the creative field of like, okay, all right, this is good, but I want to try the creative field. Like, what was that? What was that like? Was it something that someone suggested, or was it something that you were like, I want to give it a try?
So like, so before I got the scholarship, I went to a community college, got my AA degree. The
Wait,
first
hold
two
on,
years.
pause really quick. Ladies, smart and sexy. Okay, let's like let's applaud that. Like, yes,
I
applauding that.
appreciate you, appreciate you. Nah, but yeah. So I went to the community college,
Yeah.
and I would always post like these little funny like Snapchat kind of like just me doing goofy things. I would eat an apple weird or just doing something goofy. You know what I'm saying? Like, but when I got the scholarship to get to CSU Stanislaus to get my BA degree, um, I had a roommate. So I had a girl at the time. We split. I got a roommate, and this dude, he was like if it wasn't for him, his name is Taylor. I think yeah. If it wasn't for him, my life would be eat shit, sleep, die. It would
Oh
just be
wow.
it would be a normal life, which I'm not going like I'm not shunning people that have a normal life. We need everybody. If we didn't have people to work specific jobs, we wouldn't where would we be, you know?
Yeah.
But he wouldn't like demand or say you should do this or this and this and this. He would just ask me questions. I'm like, because I would always like vent to him, like, yo, I want to be a star, like I want to be this, and this. And he would just ask me questions like, okay, if you want to do this, then why are you doing that? Or
Mm.
if you try doing this, how about you do this? And just those questions helped spark a like my vision became clear, like to become an international model, movie star actor, and then a personal trainer. But I'm predominantly actor and model now. But yeah, if it wasn't for him, my life would be full time job, kids, family, work, shit, sleep, die. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, you know what? Like you said, I agree with you. I totally understand how you feel. I think, growing up for myself too, I kind of totally relate. I'm originally from Florida. So a small town. I grew up on a farm, 5 acres of land. We had cows and chickens and horses. That could have been my reality. I could have easily did the whole like, the traditional woman in the kitchen and the kids and the
Oh,
and it's like that's never been appealing to me ever. I don't know how if you felt this way, even where like I mean, California, I don't know how far that was it Stockholm? I don't know how far that is from like Los Angeles and Hollywood, like distance wise. I'm not sure how long
Cal,
that. Yeah.
you said Cali?
Well, yeah, you growing up, like you're from California, so I was wondering like how like as far as like the distance, like Hollywood
Got you.
and
5.5 hours from Stockton,
okay, I
but
see.
it's 4.5 where I was at currently.
Okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, it wasn't like that dream of like it's like, oh, it's too far off, like you're in California, but
yeah.
from Florida, it's like no one actually ever leaves here and like gets to there. So, but I don't know if you felt this way. Like I've always felt out of place, even growing up, and like just didn't quite fit in. So, and then I remember distinctively remember going to when I finally did the move to come to California and I was on set, I was like, wow, this is the missing piece. The like-mindedness, you just felt like, okay, these are my people, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No,
Mm.
yeah, I agree. Like, when I had my first gig as a model, I did my first gig in the industry was a runway in the Bay for Mario B Productions. And going back a little bit, I was like because I love sports. You know what I'm saying? That was my thing, but I know eventually we get older and it can end. So like,
Mm.
how can I have this feeling forever and still like prosper as a king? Um, when I was on that runway, like you see the people beside you, and they either clap, they snap, they like, you know what I'm saying? They always have some like some way of like appreciating the the art on your body, and then of course you. But that from that day on, I was like, this is where I belong, and then
Mm.
and then I just took it a step further.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations on all that you're doing. I'm like, I would think that would be such a competitive. I mean, I think anything is, even what I'm doing, I feel like there's always that kind of, there's so many people doing the same thing, but congratulations for doing it, like, and
Appreciate it.
putting it out there. Like, I saw the clip of, I think it was like a bill, you were on the billboard in New York of the, now I bet that was like, yo, like when you do put the work in, results do come.
That's all I know is like working. Like it's crazy because you hear everybody say if you want it, you got to work, but like do you really want it? Do you actually have the will to bleed, cry, sweat, sleep in cars, like
Oh yeah,
stay up all night? Oh yeah, we
I've
like
been
do
there. I've been
you
there.
likewise? Like
Mm.
it's not a game. Like this is dreams we're talking about. This is not something you could just walk in. You gotta really bleed for it. Like, and I live by that. Like every day I work. And if I don't, I feel like something wrong.
Mm. Yeah. 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 I think society, like now the generation that we're living in now, it's like this microwave kind of, they want that overnight kind of glorification. Oh, I want to be a Kim Kardashian. Or I want that life. And I'm just like, guys, you understand what, first of all, you don't want someone else's blessing. And plus, you don't know what that lady has to do to keep or maintain. What's that saying? I love that saying. The grass seems greener on the other side, but it's just the perspective is just watering your own grass and
Real
figuring out,
talk.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I've
Real talk.
definitely remember seeing a lot of people, when I first get the Hollywood thing, and I was in like maybe like 11 years ago when I first moved to Los Angeles, and I didn't think I was gonna, you know, have these certain situations that happen. Like you hear about certain things, but when you're actually in certain situations, you're like, oh,
Real
that's
talk.
that's the other side of Hollywood that I don't wish anyone to be like in or see, but the yin and yang, I guess, of it all.
It can get wicked. It is,
It's interesting.
man, it's very interesting.
So I feel like for you in that world I mean, would you say that you had like a mentor, someone that was like, hey, this is what, that I think it's really important to know someone that really is rooting for you in those positions because not all the time. Not I think it helps to know someone that knows the ropes, but obviously you're doing the work. What was it like getting in the modeling industry? Because I mean, I did it when I was young, slightly, and I stopped because I just felt like it was just too much pressure.
Yeah.
What is it like for you? How did you navigate in that?
I didn't have nobody like besides Tay opening my curiosity as far as being a star, like an international model and an actor. No one was like, here you go. This is how you do it. This is what you need. Boom, 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 boom. No, like it was all trial and error. Like I got my first gig um by reaching out to like 5 to 10 designers. Mario reached back to me. We went through. We had that going. Oh, actually, it was Novella. Novella reached out to me, and we got that going. And from that day, when I knew this is what I wanted to do, that's what I kept doing. I kept reaching out to people. Hey, if you need this, if you need a handsome black male to do this and this and this, I'm your guy. And I just kept doing that. And then eventually, after all the work was put in, they start, reaching out to you.
Yeah,
So as far as no one told me, no one
that's
kind of
incredible.
like, yeah, I went through trial and error. Like I would go through a photo shoot and look at the photos and be like, ooh, I don't like that. Ooh, how do I fix that? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
yeah.
I will go get a commercial deal and be like, ooh, I didn't like that. I'm gonna correct that. Like it was, yeah, it was all trial and error.
That's it. No, I love that. Is there anybody that inspires you as a creator and some, model, actor? Like, is there any one that you look at and you're like, you know what? I like what they're doing. And, I want to probably emulate or maybe work with that person.
Will Smith, he inspired me.
Mm,
Yeah, because he was doing what I wanted to do, which is play like pull like every type of character that I may possibly have out of me. Like like I was never okay with like being put in a box.
right.
So that's why I'm a model actor trainer because I want to do a little bit of everything. But you do have to specialize because you'll find yourself bouncing and you won't have enough energy to give your 100% of your craft. Go ahead, my bad.
No, no, no. I agree, but then I think about then think about Kevin Hart. I mean, this guy is like even Tyler Perry. I feel like people like that. You are never put yours. I think there's as a creator. I think it just. I think it's all encompassing. I think we have to try to like for me, I never thought I was going to be a writer. I didn't want to take it, but I was like, I do things that scare me because I feel like
Yeah.
those are the places that you're going to like unlock something inside of you like, oh my God, I didn't think I actually had that in me. I didn't think that I could do that. I feel like a lot, like what's that Bible scriptures? Like many are called, but few are chosen. But I always say like there are people that are the chosen ones, quote unquote, are only the people that say yes to the call. Everybody's getting the call. You know what I'm saying? But not everybody's like, all right, we're like, okay, God, maybe later.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey,
It's
real talk. There was I don't mean to cut you off. Were
no,
you done?
please, I love this.
The difference between people that make it and they don't make it are the people. It's when the opportunity presents itself at any moment, you got to say yes to it. People are like, oh, but I just did a 12-hour shift yesterday. I feel I'm not all the way there. Let me just get the next one. That next one that you just skipped is the reason why you're not there yet.
Mm.
I'm telling you, like I would do a 14-hour shift.
Ooh.
I Yeah, 14-hour shift. I will get a call the same night at 10 p.m. saying, "Can you be there at 5 a.m. in the morning in LA?" Yeah. So, and I had what? I tried to get some sleep and it was 1 hour. I needed something to get on the road and give my best. And of
Yeah,
course, I had like, energy drinks and whatever to keep me.
you're right.
Cause I don't recommend, yeah, I don't recommend it though, because
Mm,
it's your life you're playing with. But
mm,
at the same time, you got to be willing to die for what you want. Like this is not it's not easy. If they always say if it was easy, everybody would have it. You got to scratch, crawl, and like you said, fear, saying yes to what scared you. It's on the other side of fear, there's greatness.
I could see you doing like being a Will Smith. I could see that. You have the charisma and not only the look, but like they always have this. I don't know if you notice it through like it's all they're once the old heads kind of die out, it's like I'm not saying that Will's dying.
I know you're talking about.
But you know what I'm saying? Like the new fresh generation comes and continues on with the work. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's a great time that we're living in. Being that we're trying to clean up the industry. I'm curious. So I have another show outside of this called Cancel Culture, and I don't know if you believe in that, but I do believe there is such a thing of we live in such a time now that everyone's so sensitive and so you can't really express yourself. Now, as a creator, do you feel like it's a bad like I mean, I'm sure there's lots of things that you don't agree with or you agree with and you want to say. Do you feel like you're as a creator, do you feel like at times when you're maybe in interviews or situations, you do you pull back because of the position that you're in?
Of course, I would
Mm,
say like, but it's not a lot because at the end, like you can't really care
mm,
about judgment on your opinion, but there are some things you got to be respectful with, like religion, politics, um, religion and politics. Those are the only things I kind of respect, and I'll kind of leave that like never to be in discussion really.
hmm.
Um, but anything else, if I have an opinion, um, I'm gonna voice it.
Yeah.
You can't live life worrying about what someone's gonna or what people are gonna think. Because if you do that, you're not gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get to where you want to be.
Mm.
You got to be your own self. Yeah, with no shackles.
In this industry, you don't find people who really know themselves. And once you
Mm,
know them, once you know yourself, it doesn't matter what people say, it doesn't matter what the comments or what the outside noise said. You're gonna do you, period.
that's real. And Pain. I want to thank Pain for
Yeah.
for helping develop me because
Mm.
I really do feel like Pain is the best teacher. You've been through enough pain. It'll bring who you are out.
When things started to like you start to see the work that you've been putting in, the season you've been planning on, like the return on that, you're like, oh, okay, there it is. I
Hmm.
remember getting I mean, because being an African American on top of a woman in the industry, I can't imagine what it is for you, but I'm sure there's always that pushback. The industry that we're in, and not to go on a Kanye rant.
No, I love it. I love all that. Let me hear
Oh, you
it.
with the smoke, you with the smoke.
I'm with all that. The real as it gets. The dirty, gritty, darkness. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I love it. No, I mean, like, just like the uh the pushback that we get as creators and African American content creators and people that are artistry, there is we're in an industry that was never actually created for us. I mean, you can go back like historically speaking, you can find this in our history books of like we didn't create it.
Nope.
We're just in, but now because of we're knocking down doors, and we're all our brothers and sisters who, whether they're, with the Black Panther situation, Wakanda Forever coming out, the new one where the villain is Mexican, a Mexican actor. So all these the diversity and change that we're seeing, it's such a great time that we're in because I'm like, finally. But for me, I really feel like there is more than just Hollywood. Like my goal is outside of Hollywood as well. Like I love what I
Oh
do,
yeah.
you know what I mean? But there is so much more out there outside of the structure that they put us in.
And it's people like Kevin Hart and Kanye reminding us of that.
That part. And people say he's crazy, but listen,
Nah.
I think you got to be in his shoes to know what he's talking about and then to also be a leader. You're not going to have people that are always on your side. I mean, Martin Luther King,
Hmm.
could you imagine Martin Luther was like, I have a dream that everyone's going to be, we're going to have freedom and we're going to all be brothers and sisters. And they're like, are you crazy? you know?
They were like, man, always everybody always got something to say.
Yeah,
And I feel like if Kanye was crazy, he wouldn't be a billionaire. He wouldn't
that
have his
part.
own. He's a billionaire as an African American,
Yeah, the
like
richest man
the
in America.
richest.
Yeah,
You feel me? Like you,
black man.
yeah, black. Nah, he's not crazy. He just sees things way
Different.
ahead. No, it's not even like different. It's like he sees 10 years ahead.
Yeah.
That's not crazy. He's just a visionary implementer.
Oh, let's yes to that. Yes. But see, and that's the thing is I read something and I can't he was on Drink Champs. I watched all 3 hours and something of that interview
Oh yeah,
and
me too.
everyone's kind of talking about, oh, he's crazy. I'm like, no, it pretty much was sound and he's drinking. He sounds amazing talking. I get exactly what he was saying. And I feel like Kanye, it's like Bill, the comedian Bill Burr. He's this white comedian guy.
Yeah.
He did his take on Kanye. He goes, guys, it's a black man saying bizarre things. He's like, in America, he's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
He's like, if it was a white man saying bizarre things like Kanye, we're in trouble because what did we have in the history? Who came up? He's like most people who thought that way. Hitler. We had
Yeah.
Hitler. These are
Yeah.
people who thought outside, and that's the problem that we had. That's the problem. He's like, but Kanye's is he's a black man. They're not going to let him go too far. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it's just what it is. It's the
Yep.
reality of the structure that we're in. And I'm like, makes a lot of sense. And we're too busy. And then if you see the media is playing against him, saying like, oh, he's crazy. And like, let's look at what he's saying, the rant. But then meanwhile, there's wars happening in other countries that are way bigger threats than what Kanye's saying. Kanye's just trying to get you guys to wake up.
He's trying to uninstall
Yeah,
social norms. Like he's making it okay to have an opinion,
yeah.
to be your own person. Like we're there's so many things that have been installed in us as a human, like math. That was man created. You know what I'm saying? Like that's installed in the, like for instance, like as a male, we're supposed to be dominant, firm. We shouldn't cry, right? That's backwards though. That's backwards. Like why are we not able to feel? Why are we not able to be vulnerable? You know what I'm saying? And even in vulnerability, there's so much more power than you think you would get from being dominant.
Hmm.
So sharing how we feel, that's being cut off when that should be a real thing. You know what I'm saying?
I absolutely agree with that because I always say to my best friend, she's Russian, and we always have these like, she's Jewish, so we always have these
Mhm.
debates, and I'm like, we're always going back and forth,
Oh
and
yeah.
she's like, well, I think it's like this. I'm like, but this is what it is, and then she's like,
Yeah.
I never knew this, and I feel like I can appreciate what I love about her is that she is open-minded and open to receive information versus someone who's just like, I'm not going to receive.
Cut off.
Yeah. And I find that's what our community needs more of.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of it is we're against each other.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 200% crab in a barrel. What?
Now, have you experienced that in your industry?
I threw that away a long time ago. I stopped stressing off it because it's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to,
Yikes.
yeah, everybody wants to benefit off somebody, and no one wants to see you win. So you got to just win on your own. That's why I'm completely fine with working, coming home, staying in my cave, plotting, editing, posting. What's the next gig? Like I don't go out and party that much. Like I don't actually not anymore. I
Hmm.
used to a lot. Like in high school, I used to party a lot. I ain't gonna lie. But I didn't drink or smoke. Like it was just to
Hmm.
dance. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I like to dance. And now this whole new wave is about, standing on the wall, beer pong, trying to hook up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's ridiculous now. But yeah,
Yeah.
huh?
Euphoria. I was gonna say that show, that hit show Euphoria literally was like, I don't know if you've seen Euphoria, but it was about, I don't know if it glorifies drugs, but it definitely did talk about like kind of teens and the generation now and where how they feel like and how they think. But I get everybody has an expression, and this is the industry where you show those things. But also,
Mm-hmm.
when you see certain things, I think people start to emulate them. I think
Oh
people
yeah.
believe what they see and they want to be that thing that they see. And it's not reality, it's not real. Do you feel like that is an agenda with the media? Do you feel like media has an agenda?
Oh,
Or
100, 200%. It's all about numbers, controversial, and
mm,
sales. 200%. But like, we shouldn't live our life on eggshells, wondering how they're going to twist the story. However they twist it, that's out of our control. That's why you get on podcasts, you know what I'm saying,
yeah,
and do charity and do things like that, so you can voice your opinion
right.
and what you actually feel, like the actual truth. But no, yeah, the media is going to do what they want to do.
I have a love-hate relationship with the media. I feel like it's a social media is great sometimes, but also there is that negative part that comes with it. It's almost like I usually say this like as an analogy. I for me, this is how I describe the industry that we're in. Is like we're the Wizard of Oz. We're Dorothy and we're the friends. We have our friends with us and we're trying to get meet the wizard. And we're on
Yeah.
this journey of like, oh, we're gonna get the things that we've always wanted from the Wizard of Oz. And then we get to meet the wizard. And the wizard is just this guy behind a green curtain that's pulling all these strings, right? There's like the biggest manipulation like ever. This thing that we look at like we glorify. It's like, oh, this is Hollywood. And it's like I remember when I first got to Hollywood and I went down the Hollywood Boulevard and it was so dirty and I saw this homeless guy peeing on the side. I was like, in my head I had this like image of it. Like it was beautiful, it was gold, in my head. But that wasn't the reality.
Nah, this is smoke and mirrors. It's not what people think it is, but it's not like that's why they say it's not for everybody. Like it's
Yeah.
people see a movie and be like, "Oh, I want that," and you know what I'm saying? And that's not what it is. Like it's sleeping in cars, it's staying up late. Your mind never turns off. It's posting every day. You're dropping everything. Like you're sacrificing everything to get what you desire,
What is your desire?
to be significant, to be sexy and funny, to be significant though. That's why I say significant, because there's no like it's vague.
Mm,
Like it's at the end of the day, it means to be great. But um it doesn't put me in a box. I just want to touch as many lives as I possibly can through entertainment.
I love that. Yeah, I like that. Because I feel like, for me, it's like I just didn't know how things were gonna plan out, but they just did. I do believe that, you know, in like for me, you're still gonna go through the ups and downs, you know,
Mm-hmm.
of it all. Um, but I feel
Most
like
definitely.
yeah, and I feel like I know like this is it, the purpose is bigger than the industry for me now. Like for me, it was like I just want to be an Alfred Hitchcock. Like that's really what I wanted to do, and
Yeah.
like I really want to be the female version of that. But then it just kind of changed, and I feel like with this whole platform and podcast, we're talking to people, and we're talking. We're a lot of people have called in or messaged, and we're like, "Thank you for this episode." Like I had a guy say, "This saved my life." Like this episode saved my life. I was literally like in a depressing mode, and I really wanted to end it all. And I was like, so it's bigger than this is not a coincidence, right? Everything that we do is for a greater purpose. We might not
Oh
know what
yeah.
it is at that moment, but it just evolves as time goes on. And then you're like, oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's cool.
It is dope because we all have desires. We all have um something that itches at our core that we really want. He's like, okay, you want this? Like, for instance, he said, like, you ask, you want to be stronger. He's like,
Mm,
okay, I'm gonna put you through this, this, and this, and this to make you stronger.
mm,
It's not like boom, you're stronger now. That's why they say be careful what you ask for, because
yeah.
it takes work to develop your desires.
If you can see it, you can have it. That's how I feel. But again, like you said, it's the work. Are we willing to go through what it takes to be? I use like I hate to say this, but purge. I feel like it's purging and stripping away from you're like a butterfly. You're forever changing. So totally understand what you're saying. And how do you okay, we live in social media time. Do you get criticized at all for like either like posting too much or you're like do you have you ever had those and if you do, how do you rise above that?
You gotta kind of like play a role and act as if you're blind to what you see and hear, deaf from what you hear. Cause like it's really weird actually. I'll see the haters and stuff here and there, but I don't get as many as I thought I would. Um, and that's a problem though, because they say the more haters you have, closer you are to making it. But but when you do get them, you just don't give them the negative energy. Give them positive energy. Like if they say something racist, be like, "Oh, for sure, I needed that. Thank you." Or like just kill them with kindness.
Mm,
And you have to know that I just said it. The more haters you have means you're on the line. You're on a road that involves significance because people hate great. People hate greatness from others. They want if it's not from them, they hate it.
hmm.
So I don't know, just act as if you didn't really hear it or hear it, and put a little bit of positivity on it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Positivity. That's it. What do you do to keep your circle I guess clean? What are the things that you exercise in your day to day to like to keep away from the negative? Like is there something that you do? Do you pray? Do you meditate? Like what's your what
I used to be inviting. I used to like now I'm kind of cold with it. Like if I hear if I hear a little bit of negativity, like, oh, you probably won't make it because of this, or um
you've had that?
I had someone, this is what kind of uh gave me drive. Like when people say I can't do something, now I'm really like, oh, what's happening? But this was
Uh,
like probably my fourth gig in the industry. It was just a regular photo shoot. And this designer, he said, you don't have the look. You won't be a model.
wow.
And I was like, for sure. And for a moment I believed him.
Really?
But yeah, of course. When you're new in the industry, what people say you think it matters.
Mm,
But what we have to realize is there's an audience for everybody. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Every if you're willing to work, you can accomplish anything you put your hands on. You have to, but you got to be willing to work. Like that's the thing. Like you gotta. Another thing too is don't take opinions harsh. Take them in, digest it. People said it for a reason. So maybe what he said was true at that time. I didn't
Mhm.
have the look. I didn't like my look. So what he said was probably true. You know what I'm saying? But you got to take it in and figure out why he said that. People say things for a reason. Negative, positive, neutral, it's all said for a reason. And we must take it in, digest it, and find the light in the dark.
I commend actors. I dibble dabble in it. I got an agent by happen like accident. I went to cinematography school before I came to film school before I came to Hollywood to be taken seriously because in my field there's a lot of men, particularly
Yeah.
white men, are dominant in cinematography field. So it's like, wow, so I'm breaking down those stereotypes. But of course, it came with a lot of pushback, and a lot of them were like, "Oh, sweetheart, baby, cutie," and I just was like, "I gotta change this up." So I was like, "I'm just gonna come in there with like a regular schmegula cap. I'm gonna be one of the guys, so that I can be taken seriously." So
Yeah.
that's the angle that I took, and it's been working since. So
I respect it.
And
So
then
Eric Thomas, he's a motivational speaker, one of the best in the world. Most motivational speakers will come in there, button up shirt, suits,
right.
this, and this, you know. But he came from similar. Well, he came from a little bit. He was homeless, ate out of trash cans, and a
Hmm.
lot of things. But when he made it, he didn't want. He wanted to like pull on the strings as much as he could of these uh young kids that he was preaching to, motivating to, whatever. And he felt the best way to do that is if he was dressed in normal clothes, Jordan's own, baseball cap,
I love that.
regular shirt. You know what I'm saying? Because they're when they're in the audience, they're like, man, I mean, it's cool and all. I hear what he's saying, but he's got a suit. He's this guy. But if you see him, you know what I'm saying? But you see him in normal clothes, he's like, oh, he's just like me. I could probably do that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it actually is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That's exactly what it was. And of course, that comes with other things too. You get, are you gay? And personally, I could care less about what people think.
Yeah, you know what you are, what you stand for. Yep.
We have a long way to go when it comes to this industry and the powers that be. I think if we continue to talk about these things, the conversation will take a hold of that and run with it,
Yeah.
because it just doesn't take it takes more than us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got to get more people on this situation on board to change it. Um,
Yeah.
it's kind of like what Dave Chappelle said. He goes, the Me Too movement was great. He says, but I just think you guys went wrongly about it. Went about it the wrong way. He's like, you guys are gonna go on the Oscars and wear the dress. Oh, let's just stand in solidarity and say no more to these men. We're gonna wear all the black dresses. And he's like, but then you guys, the next day, you go back to your male counterparts. Who are your agents? He's like, if you really want to change, you're gonna fire the male and then get a female in that position. I'm like, yes, yes, Dave.
Dave Chappelle is a genius. He's one of my influencers.
Yeah, me too.
Just being unapologetic and woke. Like he always reads between the lines. He doesn't he doesn't go off what's been shown or said. He's like, okay, I saw that, but let me do my little research. Let me pull
Yeah.
this out. We'll whoop this and that. Oh, okay, this is what we got. You know what I'm saying? And he put us on an amazing special. But
He's amazing.
he's dope.
He's definitely what the generation needs to hear. He's like the voice of reason in our time. Like I feel like every comedian has the people that they're, are aiming to get or trying,
Yeah.
or their audience. Dave is
Mm.
just, I think he's just the voice of like he says something, it's like, oh, I wanna listen to what he has to say.
Oh yeah. He is a master at his craft. Like it's crazy. Words have power. Like words have power alone, but it's how you articulate them. Like you know what I'm saying? How you put them together. Because it's crazy when he speaks. It doesn't feel like you're watching it from TV. It feels like you're there with him on the couch,
Right.
chilling, talking. You know what I'm saying? Like it's natural conversation with power in there. Like it's crazy,
Yeah.
and that's man, and it's real. That's why I really, out of everybody, all the powerful people I've met, or people that haven't made it.
Right.
A lot of times, I respect the people that haven't made it yet and clawed and scratched to get there because they're authentic. You know what I'm saying? There's no shackles on them. There's no agenda besides what they're working towards. It's just real, 100% real.
Yeah.
And I will always respect real over someone putting on a facade and doing all kinds of things to try to be a specific person rather than being themselves.
That's it.
Hmm.
And I feel like it's that saying. I don't know if that's JG. I don't know who says this, but this was it real recognizes real. Like we know when something is authentic, and like it's just that knowing within us. I remember getting a call in 20 like I've worked the industry for so many years, but 2019 was definitely a pivotal moment for my career because there was a woman that I was talking to for like online, and she was supportive of my career and my work as an African American woman. And she was also African American producer, and she would come and check on me. What are you working on? Okay, cool. I was like, I have this, and she would share it, and she got me. I remember she reached out to me about this documentary called Horror Noir, History of Black Horror.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, how do you feel about talking about how Black people were depicted? The first recorded director, African American director, Oscar Mescal, to Jordan Peele winning an Oscar for Get Out.
Shh.
And I was like, I'm down. I didn't even know what to expect, but I knew that it was an important part of the story. Like, I'm glad I said yes to the call because it was talking about these things historically, and now it's considered one of the top classic documentaries in, horror genre right now. I mean, we had Keith David from The Thing, Jordan Peele, Loretta Devine, Candyman, Rachel True from The
Sheesh.
Craft. I mean, all the people that paved the way in the horror genre and cinema. And I get there, I'm like, this is crazy. Like, you know, but it's those things like somehow throughout the journey, if your intentions are right, and you're putting that out there, it's gonna find you. First of all, where can people find you on social media so they can follow all the amazing things you're doing? Because this guy is
On Instagram, it's like Amazon, but with the L. So it's ALAZON_. And then on everywhere else, it's the same thing, Alazon. Or just find if you type in my real name, Alonzo Easter, you'll find me everywhere.
last question. What would you rather have, loyalty or respect, and why?
Well, doesn't loyalty involve respect? I mean, in order to be loyal, you gotta respect.
Hmm.
You gotta respect, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, I want a little bit of both. I want all or none.
That's a great answer. That's a good answer. A lot of people when they're
Yeah.
on the show, they usually pick either one. But there's been two guests. Can I have both? It's whatever you want it to be. But it's like in your head, you're thinking, I gotta choose one.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You gotta break that listen to the
Exactly.
question and break the cycle.
Thank you so much for coming on and talking to us and just, I feel like we're in a great time now. Social media is a great tool to connect with people. So everyone who's listening, please, please go follow him, check out his stuff, hire him for projects. He's amazing and also very, very funny.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time.